Ghosts, angels, demons, fairies, vampires, werewolves. All those stories you heard as a kid. All those stories mom and dad said weren't true. For most people, that's all they are. Myth, legend. Occasionally people find there is something out there in the dark. Many years ago, I trained with the late Lou Gentili, one of the best known demonologists in the United States. When he died, he asked I continue his legacy. I've been continuing investigations since his death, but I also wanted to bring back his efforts to educate the public about what's really out there. Join us for a brand new YouTube series, The Paranormal Encyclopedia, with me, your host, Kevin Mears, demonologist and paranormal investigator, while we investigate what really goes bump in the night.
So, before you think this is all about doom and gloom, well, first of all, it is. Second of all, that is not entirely our purpose. We're here to entertain, we're here to tell you, and you're probably wondering who the hell I am. I'm not the demonologist. It's my job to ask questions, it's my job to be the skeptic. I've got some background in history, particularly about witches, but I'm here to hypothetically be your voice. I'm Drew. Welcome to Paranormal Encyclopedia.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Paranormal Encyclopedia. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Mears, the demonologist, and
I'm Drew Rosansky, the not demonologist, token skeptic, that guy. So,
okay, now you need one of those curly handlebar mustaches to twirl, because you're the bad guy.
I can hold nails. It's not quite the same.
So at any rate, tonight we're going to talk about black magic. What it is, how a bit of its history, maybe a couple of the more famous practitioners.
What defines it?
Yep.
And what kind of problems it causes.
Okay, so what we're going to start, just for the sake of clarity, because magic's a really complicated topic. We're going to start off by explaining white magic, black magic, what's the difference?
Really quick and short and dirty.
Yeah. And it's probably going to annoy somebody, but we need some kind of working definition, otherwise we're going to get very lost in the weeds here.
Yeah. Okay. So, the white magic, as most people, you guys already know, is magic that helps people. Black magic is magic that hurts people. That much, I think everyone can agree on.
Yep.
But the line is where people tend to gets a little more hairy. First of all, your main defining factor for black magic within a historical context is sometimes defined as whether you're asking something nicely or trying to command it. That's not the definition we're going to be using. What we are doing...
I was going to say, although that is particularly a legitimate point to an extent, because another aspect of what defines the difference between white and black magic is, in black magic, you're overriding the free will of the person that you're casting the spell on. Which is why a love spell, for example, is generally considered black magic, even though it's not directly causing harm.
Well, that could be.
Well, true. But you're making a decision for that. You're removing the person's ability to choose.
Yeah. So generally, the way I define black magic is anything that causes direct harm, removes someone's free will, or is done through dark means.
I would agree with that definition.
Dark means should probably be defined as either it requires some degree of taboo effigies, whether it be human skulls, remains, organs, things that if it's illegal to get them, that's probably a good sign that it's black magic, not white. In addition, anything where you're trying to summon demons is generally considered black magic.
Yeah.
Any kind of curses, that's harming someone. But let's say I summon a demon to heal my sick grandfather. That's still black magic. It is a demon doing the healing, meaning somewhere, somehow down the line, that's probably going to be bad.
Yeah. The Bible has a good quote on the subject, in my opinion, which is that what profit a man to gain the world to lose his soul? Which is kind of the idea there, in my opinion. Just because, you're doing something good, and and that's Matthew 16:26. If anyone's wondering, you need to watch what you're doing to get what you want, basically. And that's not just magic; that's everything, obviously.
Yeah. The other kind of definition, or other aspect of the definition you can kind of go with is the end result illegal? That's probably black magic.
Yeah.
If you're using it to hurt someone, you're not allowed to walk up to a person on the street and punch them in the face. So magically punching them in the face, it's not white magic.
And even historically, everybody thinks of Christianity outlawing witchcraft. Setting aside that for a second, Hammurabi, the first codified set of laws, actually has provisions against the practice of black magic.
It is also prohibited by the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans.
Yes.
As it is prohibited by the Norse and the Celts. And that is as much as I can say definitively, because I haven't studied enough for the rest of the world to be able to say.
Most cultures have at least some degree of taboo against people who practice the dark arts. And it's another thing to realize is people tend to think of, magic is evil, that's a Christian thing. It's like, no, everybody going back to the earliest cultures, we have this division.
On point, the early Christians were thrown to the lions. The actual sentence was witchcraft.
Yes.
That was their crime, was witchcraft. So the Romans were really, really not good with it. Any kind of magic was no-go. But I could somewhere down the line later explain the pagan difference between magic and prayer, and it gets hazy.
It's a very interesting philosophical discussion, probably left to to a different day.
Not today. Today we're talking about black magic.
Yeah.
The evil stuff.
But again, it's this kind of concept. It's a very old idea. And for that matter, and it's an interesting thing to start off with, I suppose, there's a concept in psychology and in medicine called, most popularly known as voodoo death, and it's also more accurately known as a psychosomatic death, which is when curses actually, medically speaking, kill people.
It is documented.
Yeah, don't take our word for it. Look it up.
So, I think we lost you, Kevin.
Up.
Yep.
Actions, but it's most common in what we think of
Kevin,
as primitive cultures.
You
Yeah.
there was a problem with Skype,
Ah.
and I think we're back.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to go back about 30 seconds to 45 seconds, maybe a minute.
Okay. So there's this concept of voodoo death, which is, or psychosomatic death to use its more medically recognized definite term, which is basically someone curses you, you get sick, you die. This is actually a recognized medical phenomenon. It's in the textbooks. You can go ahead and look it up later if you guys don't want to take our word for it, because you should know by now how big we're both on the whole Google it.
It's not hard. You're already in YouTube. Come on.
Yeah.
It's owned by Google.
But basically, it boils down to that, particularly in what we consider primitive cultures, but it happens in the U.S. too. People become convinced they're going to die. They become convinced they're cursed, and they become sick, and eventually they can, in fact, die for no other reason than they believe that they're cursed.
Or if you believe it, that they are cursed, and that's why they die. Depends on whether you want to go with the magical explanation or the medical.
Yeah, the point being that there is an actual recognized aspect to this. It's not just, oh, this is some crazy idea nobody believes anymore. Then again, realistically, curses are a very prominent idea even in modern culture, which is a whole other subject we can get into that's going to slightly go off on tangents. But the Chicago Cubs are supposedly cursed because of a goat that showed up on the field the one time. The Hope Diamond's supposed to be cursed. We could go there. I think somebody's chuckling.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my only response to a goat coming out in the field is, aw, goat. There's now a reason to watch this. But, yeah, no, not to mention, yeah, there's just a lot of different aspects. So cursing's definitely one. Big one.
Yep.
Which can take the form of virtually anything, honestly. But it's usually defined by something slow, subtle. Which is not quite your... No, it could be someone dying suddenly in an accident. That's his own form of curse. That is the way that the European death curses tended to play out in the time of the witches. They would be befallen by some terrible accident, freak accident, of really strange coincidences, and then people would accuse that of some kind of witchcraft. And the title that they would use for that is also curse, so you don't just have to waste away slowly. But usually that's applied as people or places. They usually don't talk about cursing livestock, right?
Yep, that's not too common anymore, I don't think, but
there used to be a lot of black magic involved with livestock.
Yeah.
It was people's livelihood. You want to really hurt someone, but you're not the kind of person that would kill someone. You destroy their livelihood. So that was the whole idea of werewolves in France, which would turn into a wolf and destroy their livelihood by eating all of their animals.
Yep, and today certainly there are curses against somebody's business. There are modern versions of the curse against livestock, I guess, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Just different targets, same goal, different targets, because livestock aren't as prominent. And farmers still, obviously, but the average businessman probably doesn't own any cows.
Yeah. Yeah, not so much. I feel like curses are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Which is definitely be its own episode later on. But,
yeah, curses itself can probably realistically be an episode.
Because there's so many fun aspects of history on that one.
Oh yeah.
from the Roman curse tablets to Viking runic staves, but that's another time. I think we should talk more about demonic magic
Yes.
and angelic magic.
And necromancy, for that matter.
Yeah. Should we first get angelic out of the way?
Yes.
Okay. Angelic magic was considered by the church the most evil magic of all, because you are trying to command angels, something that only God is allowed to do. So, by you saying that you can command what God commands, is saying that you are equal to or greater than God, which is a blasphemy, not a heresy. So, it was considered worse than trying to summon demons. You doing alright there, Kev?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You're doing fine, so it's like,
Okay. You look pained.
oh no, sorry, I'm still a little under the weather from last week.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so that's your angelic magic out of the way. We got that. So let's...
And it's an interesting concept when you think about it, because it's like, so wait a minute, you're dealing with good spirits, but that's still a bad thing.
It is the worst thing.
Yeah.
No, summoning spirits was considered a heresy, minor heresy.
Yeah.
Because that's actually technically a heresy, but I believe that was lumped under superstition, where it was mostly a slap on the wrist, don't do that again, say sorry to God and make up for it.
Yeah.
Whereas demonic summoning, you had to formally recant, and you could be killed for that. Usually not the first offense, but depending on what you did, you could be tried for murder through summoning demons, and then that's a one and done kind of deal.
Yeah. What you do with it matters, basically.
Yeah. So, do you want to start talking about some demons?
Ah, yes, demon summoning. Oh boy, demon summoning. I'm not going to start getting into which ancient cultures summon demons, because that's a loaded topic.
Yes, it
But
is.
there is definitely a concept in magic that predates Christianity of summoning negative entities. It's not... You usually have this distinction between the priest or the shaman who does it, who works with spirits for the benefit of the tribe, and the witch, to use in an anthropological context. But yeah, Christianity, people have been claiming to summon demons since antiquity. A lot of the oldest and most well-known grimoires in Europe, the Key of Solomon being probably one of the most infamous examples.
Well, that one has debatably Jewish roots, or is from as late as the 15th century. So
there's something by the name that is is actually mentioned all the way back in the 1st century.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
Yeah, but the oldest known copies are 15th, 16th century.
as far as I'm aware. There might be one 14th, but I don't recall. Either way, late medieval at earliest. But
yeah, there's a whole Jewish Kabbalah is a very complicated subject, and before we even try to go into it, I would rather try to find a Kabbalist to talk to, just because I know very, very little about it. Being Christian, and two, there are certain restrictions in Judaism about how much knowledge you need to have of the Old Testament, and usually you're supposed to be at least 40 and married before you even start considering looking at Kabbalah.
not to mention the whole Christian idea of magic is you have to be really holy before you can try it.
Yeah.